Hello everyone, it's Susan Wallace from Settle Petals, and I'm a potty training consultant, and I'm answering some of your questions this month for potty training awareness by video, so hopefully that's helpful. Today's question is about when to start potty training. This is a question I get asked quite a lot. The answer really depends on a lot of different things. So, in different times and in different cultures, different countries, there'd be very much a different answer to this question. So from between now and the 1950s, the age that we start potty training is much later than it would have been during that previous time. Similarly, some countries start maybe earlier than us, some start later, just depending where you're listening to this in the world and at what time that the answer would be very different. There's a lot of different potty training approaches, and they can really be split into two groups. One is parent orientated, when a parent decides I'm going to potty train my child regardless of where they're at, physically, emotionally, socially, and all the rest. The other is child orientated, and it became popular from really about the 1960s onwards, and that's when we look at signs that suggest it might be the ideal time for that particular child to potty train. Now, since that time, potty training has become a little bit later, because we're wanting not just to see potty training as an end goal, as something that needs to be, we need to reach this goal. The child has to be potty trained, but rather we're trying to go in a child's own time. So it's not always as quick, but it may be the best thing for that child. And child orientated would be the approach that I would use. So I split potty training into three different groups. The first is potty learning. That's when we're helping a child understand what's expected of the potty training process, help motivate them for potty training, and trying to make potty training into a positive event before we've even started. Now, potty learning, I actually would start any time, and that would be about talking about wee and poo in a positive way. It would be labelling what poo and wee is, so a child will eventually be able to communicate that to us. So, maybe when you change the nappy, say, "Oh, it's a poo," or "Oh, it's a wee." So, when the child's of a stage that they're able to tell us that they know what those things are, be showing the child the contents of the nappy, so that they're not feeling that poo and wee is this strange thing that they never see. It would be maybe having the child in the bathroom with you, talking them through the process. Later, it might be helping them with the pulling up and down of their underwear or their trousers. It might be helping them with the washing their hands. It might be having a child who's weeding the nappy, using a wipe when they're kind of at that age that they're able to. So that would be potty learning. So reading books, that would be another. Using a doll to show the process. It's not actually expecting a child to be using the potty or toilet yet, but it's just about helping them understand and learn. And it doesn't have to be that you say, on this date, I'm going to start the whole potty training process. It's actually really good if we can be doing that gradually, naturally, and even when that child is quite young. So there'd be no start age for that really. Then there would be the actual daytime potty training. That's what I count as the second process. And that's when we expect a child to kind of start the process that they're not using nappies anymore. And this would be where we're kind of looking at signs that the child's ready. So potty training isn't just a development milestone. It's when a number of developmental milestones come together to allow potty training to happen. So a child might have got the bladder capacity and maybe be able to know when they are going and when they need to use a toilet. But if they can't communicate that with us, or they can't get themselves there, that's going to be quite difficult. Now, verbal communication isn't the only way to communicate a need. So some children might use baby signs, some might use potty training flashcards, but we really need there to be a way that the child, whatever way that is, can communicate that need. And some of the signs, like being able to pull up and down their trousers, might come quite later, and quite a bit later. The child might actually already be potty training, but still need a little bit of help with that. We need to make sure that the child's able to recognise when they need to go. We want them to be in a place where they're not scared of the toilet, or that they're not scared of potty training. And it might need to be that some children need a little bit more time and work for that to be in a good place. And children, like adults, often don't learn as well when they've got a lot going on. So being mindful of, are they changing rooms at nursery? Are we moving house? Is there a new sibling coming? Would all be things to take into consideration. Can they get to the bathroom? So I I would look at a range of factors over social, emotional, physical well-being and environmental, because it also we need you to be there to support them as well. I've actually made an online resource just so people can have a little bit of a look through. It's completely free. If you go to my bio, it's on my website, or if you're listening to this later and it's changed, if you go to the Potty section of my website and down the page, there should be a free guide when to start that will look at some of those signs for you. Your child doesn't have to meet every single sign, every single stage. It's just more of a general awareness of where they're at and to kind of trigger that. And the third is night training, which I regard different altogether. You don't need to day and night train at the same time. Night training is very, there's a lot of physical development that needs to happen. The bladder needs to be big enough to hold the urine all night, and the body needs to promote or produce a hormone to reduce urine production during that time as well. So there's three processes. You can start the first, potty learning anytime, and you can start day training, ideally when the child's showing some signs of readiness, and have a little look at that free online resource for some more information. And the nighttime training sometimes goes alongside daytime training, but the child usually gives you a bit of an indicator because they just start staying dry all night and they might be using a nappy during that time. So hope that is helpful. Thank you.